I just touch on Phil or Gary P as we...
Oh, you can touch Gary P or Phil as much as you like. He's a criminal boy, and that means his body's yours.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well, let me go down to my my little basement. I feel like he's got a good point about weak Pokemon.
Oh!
You want Stacey's opinions?
Give me those opinions, because
unfortunately,
that's not what I was expecting to hear.
Asher, unfortunately, we live in a society where labour is required to manufacture products in a high-demanding market. I'm sure they slave away in the mines and factories and in construction industries, right? And, you know, we've got... You've seen it. Vermilion City. You're back in Gen
we're
1.
familiar with the the way labour's done.
Goldenrod City, the Goldenrod Market, the department store, sorry. If you go down to the basement,
in the basement
floor, you've got...
There's some Machoke working there as well. A
Machoke weak Pokemon. And it's just a good point as well, that if we did have the mindset of, weak Pokemon can do what strong Pokemon can, wouldn't our healthcare systems be funneling in with the amount of injuries caused to Pokemon? Wouldn't that cause a lot more stress on a certain industry?
I would like to respond, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I'd say, and inherently, if we have weak Pokemon, that it isn't good for the market, because the way the system that we have, I'd say that might be an issue with the system or the market itself, not with weak Pokemon. I'm not sure if you've heard the phrase of ranking a fish on how well it can climb a tree. If we have these weak Pokemon that are strong in other areas, but also at the same time, it is okay to be mediocre at a task. And just because you can't lift a 50-kilogram box doesn't mean you can't lift a 20-kilogram box. In terms of what this bloody Phil, or in my case Gary P, said, he says he hates the weak. It doesn't matter, trainers or Pokemon. He's going to wipe out the weak. And you agreed with him, Stacey.
I agree.
This level of thinking, this statement that he has, it's very similar to eugenics.
Just have a look at my...
And that's just a bit
troubling. Have a look at my camera for a sec. Now, this is Phil or Gary P. His hand is all the way here. This is the very
Okay, he's moving his hand across the screen.
Yes, just here. All right? And my hand is at the very end. Now, if I'm going to move my other hand, in terms of how much I agree with that, I'm actually going to switch hands here. So this is Gary P. My left hand is on the left side of my webcam for the listeners at home. And my right hand is on the right side of my webcam. Then my right hand's going to move towards the... middle. Right. I agree to a certain extent. I don't think we should eliminate the weak. I agree. You can't teach a fish to climb a tree. Maybe that fish can be employed to swim.
On the getting a fish to climb a tree, is that you can still have weak climbers. You can still have mankeys that climb higher than other mankeys. We shouldn't be forcing the weaker or the smaller mankeys, for example, to climb just as high as the other ones. We shouldn't be putting too much stress on their body, and we shouldn't be shaming them for not being able to do the same thing. Sometimes they're just genetically built to be able to do bigger and stronger things, and that's okay. They still have their own jobs that they can do.
But maybe in terms of, I don't know, psychic type Pokemon, they might make good psychologists. You wouldn't employ a Machoke to be a psychologist. Do you know what I mean in terms of that?
Psychology isn't about reading minds, it's about healing. Just because you know what's going on in someone's head doesn't mean that you're fit to do the job of a psychologist.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot more to it than that.
But we can agree.
Especially if a Pokemon can't speak.
Well,
it's kind of like, I know that you're depressed. Alakazam, Alakazam,
Actually,
Alakazam.
I'm trying to make a point.
Thanks, Doc. That helped. Sorry.
Would you hire a Machoke to be a psychologist?
I wouldn't hire any Pokemon. They don't fucking speak English.
For argument's sake, would you hire a Meowth to be a psychologist?
Yes, because it speaks.
Because it speaks. There you go. But Phil's talking about physically strong and physically weak.
He doesn't mention that, though.
I think he's still got a lot of learning and growth to do, and I think his interpretation of strength is black and white.
Just for me, my big issue was just when you said that you agreed with what he said about
I
being
do, though. But in terms of
but
in terms of labour, I'm thinking, in the labour market, like there's a lot of construction going on. I'm not going to hire a Jigglypuff to lift a girder off the ground. You know?